Howdy, 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 and thank you for joining me here on Monday, 9/11/2023. Uh, you know, everything has been so hectic and things coming in. I really didn't even think about the fact of what today's date is. Um, yeah, wow. And I was actually working as a police officer on that day. And yeah, that's wow. I didn't even think about it. There's been so much has just been blowing up lately. Um, Tonight we have just, I wasn't even going to do a stream tonight, but there's just too much coming out about it. Too many things that we're finding out that we just didn't believe for the most part. And now the truth is coming out about a lot of people, and it's giving us a lot of insight into just how out of touch Hollywood and celebrities are. Um, and we're going to go into that quite a bit tonight. We're going to got some clips and some other things going on that we're going to show. But before we get started, we got to bring in our counterpart, our partner in the program, and y'all know him, y'all love him. Let's welcome Clearwater Chad.
Hey, Poe.
Hey, Chad.
Great to be here.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining me. Had a good time on the stream with you earlier. If y'all haven't, get over to Chad's channel, check him out, show him some love. So we got some new folks in here tonight that I have not seen before. We've got a lot of great friends that are here. Agro Siri in the back seat. That's interesting. You got to tell us what that's all about, Agro.
Absolutely.
My buddy Dave from Gotta Love Thailand is here. You see him in the chat as Gotta Love Thailand. Great channel over there. Got some great content. Lives in Thailand. Has a great life. Great family going over there. Like me, he had married well above his pay grade, but hey, no accounting for love. So we both worked out pretty good on that one. So Chad, are you about as overwhelmed with all this stuff as I am?
I don't know where to start with all of everything going on.
My gosh. Local Color, what's up? Thank you for being here. Thank you for coming back. Yeah, come on, Dave. We both know it. We married well above our pay grades. So but you know what? That's the big thing, is love. Our pal Apostate Alex is in the house. I just came from his live stream where he had some really cool stuff. Somebody got their name mentioned on CNN. Did you know that?
Oh, wow. That's great.
Yeah, that's pretty daggone awesome. I hope you picked up quite a few subs from it there, Alex. I guess Mike and Leah were being in theta. Okay. Guess Mike and Leah were being interviewed by CNN, and during the interview, Mike Render brought up Apostate Alex and some of the things he had been doing. So that's really cool. You got yourself out there on a huge platform like that with a lot of respect by someone like Mike Render. That's really cool. So, okay, it wasn't your name, but it was your work. That's the big thing is that, yeah, we want to see these channels grow, but the important thing is the objective. That's calling out this insidious cult and what they're doing to people. So let's see. Names of family joke relating. Oh, okay.
Nice.
Yeah. My wife backseat drives from the front seat, from the back seat, from the house,
That makes me nervous when someone's like backseat driving, doesn't it, Paul?
It aggravates me. Cop for 30 some years, high speed pursuit training and stuff like that. And then, somebody's going to tell me, why are you driving like that? Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? I'm sorry. I was never professional as a driver, So I'm just shocked he even knew about what I'd been doing. Hey, OSA's got them spies, buddy. They got them spies. They know what's going on.
And their spies have spies.
That's right. Yeah. So how'd you like the live stream last night?
It was amazing.
Vanessa and Jeffrey. Jeffrey wasn't even supposed to be part of it. He jumped in. He messaged me about an hour before the stream, said, hey, they had a big thing going, I believe, with their art gallery and all. And they were going to have a big dinner and he messaged me and said, "Hey, we um, had to cancel it. So is it okay if I come on your stream?" And I'm like, "Why are you even asking me? Yeah, of course you. Anytime Jeffrey Augustine or Karen Della Carriere, they want to be on they want to be on my live stream. Yeah, I'm letting them in. So,
Absolutely.
but I think that Vanessa and Liz added a real depth to it that we haven't been seeing in a while. We got Reefer Ricky from Melbourne, and then we got Karen C is from Brasilia. Karen,
Hey, Karen.
where in Brazil are you from, hon? Let us know. We got, man, this is an international show tonight. We got Apostate Alex in from the UK, or he says he's from the UK. Sometimes I question that accent. Dude, you got more?
Yeah, look at them all.
My
All from
goodness.
John.
John's been sending you that stuff, huh? So,
Yep.
yeah, and we got Dave from Thailand is in here, so we've got quite a good grouping, and that's I think it's perfect time to announce what we've got going on. Yeah, Alex, I dig it, Alex, but Alex is a really good people. He's a good friend. He's he's the kind of person you can rely on, and really appreciate having him as a friend. And we take digs at each other. I was a cop for over 30 years. That's what we do. Is cops have a very horrible sense of humor, but that's just how it is. So what we're gonna be putting together is I've been talking it out with a few people: Apostate Alex, Dave from Gotta Love Thailand. I've got some other folks I'm going to be talking to about doing it as well. We're going to do the stream heard around the world. I've got so many folks that come in that are from places where it's literally, oh well, it's 7-8 o'clock in the morning there for them. I've got people who it's, a little bit worse in the night for them. Alex, what time is it now for you? You're what, 6 hours ahead of us? 5 or 6 hours, I think. So we want to do this, and we're going to have people coming in. They're going to be part of the live stream that are from all over the world. We got Thailand. We have United Kingdom. Trying to get someone from Australia or New Zealand. Oh, it's 1 a.m. now, so you're 5 hours ahead of us. 1 a.m. in the UK. Hey, the bars haven't even closed at 1 a.m. around here.
What time do the bars stay open in Michigan, Bo?
2:30.
Oh, okay, it's 4 o'clock in Buffalo.
Yeah. Yeah, we they actually wanted to do something where the bars could be open 24 hours a day here, but for some reason that never panned out.
Wow.
But so what I want to do is with this live stream, I'd like to get upwards of 6 people in, maybe 8. I forget how many I'm actually allowed to. I want to get someone from Eastern Europe, possibly from the Netherlands, and just basically have a group session at about 1 or 2 in the morning, our time, and just have a great show. Showing our fans and the folks who are part of the family that are in those parts of the world where they got to stay up all night just to watch one of our live streams. Show them some love. I respect each and every one of you. I thank every one of you, and I thank the Lord that you all come in and you support us. It's a big thing for us. So, what do you think about that, Chad?
It sounds terrific, Bo.
I think it's going to be a good one. Also, going to be hosting my own chatathon. Of course, we're gonna allow Chad in. We got to do it because we're using his name. But I'm going to do a chatathon. I'm in talks with a few different people. Want to make sure that everything's okay. But there's some folks we want to raise some money for, show some love to. So I'm going to do my own chatathon, and Chad and I'll do a chatathon, and there's a lot of great causes we want to raise some money for. Let's see. Yeah. All right, looking at some of these. Let's see. Oh no, it's going to be a chatathon. Juliana's in here. Another Brazil. Hola. We got. Let me go through here. We got Susie Q. We've got Joni Cummings in here. Daniel Sander. Ray Henriksen. Hey, Born Ancient. Yeah, that's how I feel some days now.
Yeah.
Leanne. Boss Mama Goldie. And if you don't know, you need to respect the authority.
Respect and obey.
Mama. So yeah, show Goldie some love, folks. Goldie does this. She doesn't. She takes care of all of us. She's the boss mama. We love her and we respect her, and she does a fantastic job. I don't know how she can keep on top of all of it. She was just in Alex's live stream modding over there. Now she comes over here. I got Goldie and both Alex are mods for my channel. So if you get a spanking for doing something wrong, it's because I got two people that I respect and have confidence in that they can handle the mod thing there. So Lady BB, welcome. Just making sure in Theta. Yeah, Nola in the house. If you don't know what Nola is, that's New Orleans, Louisiana. Evelyn, welcome. And let me just make sure I don't want to. I already said hi to Local Color. Janaki Flem, hey, from Norway. All right. We've got Kristen Siren Creative. Welcome. And I've seen you in here before, so I just always mess your name up. T Weeks. Let's see. I don't know what that's all about. So, all right. Looks like we caught up with most people in the chat here. If you got any questions or comments, just make sure that you preface them with either chat or comment in all caps, and then take off the caps lock and go from there. And I'll make sure that we try to get them in there as best as we can. Oh, we've got some more. Jeff from Jacksonville, Florida. He's right up the road from you there, Chad. That's about a 3.5, 4 hour drive. Christopher Green. Buenas noches, peeps. Let's see here. Stephen Britton. Free Xenu Project. We expect to see you, Free Xenu. Terry Ray, as always, we love Terry. She's awesome. Tiff 45. Just saw Tiff just a little bit ago. Wendy Moore. So I think we're caught up now. Oh, and Deviant Outcast. So Deviant, do me a favor and shoot me an email later. I want to talk to you about that stream scene around the world. So see what your interest is and everything. So all right, so let's talk about the elephant in the room. We all know what happened with Danny Masterson. We know the sentence. I know a lot of people. Oh, Rio de Janeiro, Karen. All right, yeah, I've been there. Been there a few times. Love that city. Danny Masterson was sentenced to life with the eligibility of parole after 30 years. I know a lot of people are saying he got 30 to life. No, he got a life sentence. And the fact is that come the 30-year mark, yeah, he could be eligible. Doesn't mean he's going to get it. Doesn't mean anything's going to happen. I quite honestly am waiting to see. I expect that we're going to have a crap ton of appeals that are going to be filed on his behalf. So that's going to be interesting to see with that. As they were saying in the remarks, victim statement stuff. Oh, thank you, Susie, new member. When they were talking about the victim statements and the impact statements of everything, one of the new attorneys that stood up actually was asking and trying to show reasoning why the judge should vacate the sentence and they should restart the trial. And I guarantee you before you get angry at the attorneys, that's what they do. That's what attorneys are paid to do. When they go to school, part of their oath and swearing in, a part of their creed is that they present the best possible defense for their clients that they can. That's what they do. It's like me as a police officer. There's times where I never wanted to arrest someone, but I had to. And it breaks your heart sometimes. But the fact is that it's the job. It's what you got to do. So for me, that's a big thing. So we've got a few more people have come in. Oh, Shell's here. One with cat. One Love, 51,000. Broken Dishes. Welcome back.
Broken Dishes.
Yeah. And man, Aaron, here's what's crazy is I will get word from someone, hey, have you checked this out? I will go and see it, and I will be like, oh, daggone, I got to do a stream on this one. And I'll do up the thumbnail, Go ahead and set it, schedule it. Look who's here.
Joel.
I mean, we got to keep an eye on that one.
Yep. We got to monitor everything.
Hey, Purple Groovy's back.
Hey,
so,
anyways, getting back to what you said, Poe. I told Levin Smith that he was supposed to check with Clearwater Chad, and he so far has not obeyed or messaged me back.
I guess not, because I will get my live stream set. Go ahead, schedule it. Have my thumbnail done, post it, and then I will get a notification. Smith Levin is live.
I sent him a notice. I sent him a notice of action, asking for and demanding 72 hours notice before Levin Smith goes live. And so far, he has not complied.
But I tell you what, I think that something that really shocked me was the fact of how Hollywood is acting, how the folks from that 70s show. Oh, thank you, Alex. Thank you for telling everybody to come on over. I really appreciate it. Thank you for letting me know that, Wendy. But what shocked me is you've got Deborah Jo Rupp, Miss Kitty Foreman from that 70s show. Her sending in a letter of support, talking about what a great person he is, the beautiful soul and everything. Ashton Kutcher, Mila Kunis. I wasn't so surprised about the Baldwins. Not a fan of the Baldwin family to begin with. And, to see that one of the Baldwins had actually jumped in there and was showing their support. So it's crazy. And Tiff 45 became a member. Thank you, Tiff. Alex, we got to support each other in everything that we're doing. And that, just like you were saying, it's not about us, it's about the common cause. And that's a big thing for us. So, I mean, we've all known Hollywood's out of touch. I mean, you've got the Hunger Games, what's her name? Jennifer Lawrence has said some stuff that you're just like, what? They're so out of touch reality. It's not even funny. They live in this bubble encapsulated world where they're so beautiful, important, powerful, and rich, and they don't realize what's going on with real people in society. But the disconnect that I'm seeing from these things, where you have people sending in letters for someone who has been actually convicted of doing this, especially as coming from the standpoint of being a woman. And that's the thing that really got me, was when I saw Deborah Jo Rupp. That literally broke my heart. I love Miss Kitty in the 70s show. I thought she was hilarious. I thought she was the perfect example for the mother there. And then to see her do that, part of me says, yeah, she's continuing on with that mother kind of relationship where she's trying to support, trying to be that motherly figure. But on the other hand, you're supporting someone who's done some horrible things. So I just, to me, that breaks my heart to see it. Stephen Britton, here in Canada, there is a huge issue brewing where the RCMP members will possibly be asked to do something completely against many of their consciences. I think will be a huge test for me as a law enforcement officer, as a having taken the oath and having been a member of the United States military. The Constitution, the laws, the rights of humanity, my own moral code, my ethics, and my honor were always prevalent in the way that I handled being a law enforcement officer. And that's going to be a true test of whether or not they really are RCMP or whether or not they're political stooges doing what they're told to do. So that's, I understand that's going to be a real test. And I know for a lot of them, it's going to be a hard one. You may actually end up losing your career, may lose the way to feed your family. But you know what? I can always find work. I can always find a way to put food on the table. I am not going to let my kids or my wife see me give up my honor, my integrity, because it's politically or it is majoritively popular at the time. Fads come and go, trends come and go, beliefs come and go, but the integrity and the honor as a law enforcement officer, that's something that should never be gone. Test it all you want, but it should be something that the RCMP stands by. So that's my thoughts on that. As a former police officer that's seen a lot of DVs, didn't a and Mila's apology looked like a couple had been fighting all night. It looked like to me, I mean, it almost looked like one of those ransom kind of videos. That's what's crazy. Yeah, I mean, they look like those folks who we are doing fine. Our hostage takers are treating us fairly. That's how they looked. Oh yeah,
I agree.
Did you see the apologies?
I did. I feel that they should do an apology video for the apology video for the video they did there.
That's crazy. Yeah, and I mean, great example. And yeah, Dostone Salazar brought it up as well. It's been mentioned by more than a few people. You can definitely tell some people were not English students in college. That's pretty real there. In the 80s, I hung out with some shady people who were my friends. Much as I loved them and they were good to me, I was very much aware of their shady side. You know, being a cop as long as I was, I knew a lot of felons. I knew a lot of dirty people. But they knew who I was. They knew what kind of person I am. So the fact is that they didn't do those kinds of things around me. And they knew, even if I had befriended you, if the time came and you had to go to jail, you were going to jail. So, but I always, no matter who you were, I tried to show respect for the person. You know, I was talking about it a few streams back. I actually had a lady who sent a letter to my chief, to the mayor, to the county prosecutor, and the state attorney general, and the governor of the state of Michigan. She is one of those where she's a single mother working her butt off, worked 2 and 3 jobs at a time. And she got caught in that revolving circle of the ticket scheme that every state has, where basically you start off, you get a ticket, you can't pay for it, it turns into a suspension. Then the state tacks on their fees and the suspension continues. You get the ticket paid off, find out you have to pay the state fees on top of it, don't have the money, suspension continues. Get caught in that revolving circle like that. To me, it's basically a whirlpool that just sucks these people in, and there's no way out. And you know, our department had a 0 tolerance for suspended license. So I had to arrest her. I had to impound her vehicle. It broke my heart. But she sent this letter stating that, you know, she had been arrested several times before for the exact same charge, but this was the first time ever having been arrested that she actually felt like a human being during the whole process. And that's my honor, my integrity, is that just because a person's broken the law doesn't make them a criminal. All right. You know, that's how I look at things. Danny, criminal.
Yeah.
So, local color. I count on one hand actors that seem in touch with the world. Leah and Matthew McConaughey. Yeah, I gotta say, Matthew McConaughey. You know, I forget who he was dating. It was, I think it was, wasn't her name Cruz or something like that. And he ended up dating her, and she was just so surprised that one of the things he wanted to do was go camping. And I'm like, homeboy is actually, he's a real person. He don't just live that Hollywood lifestyle. They didn't go glamping. They went actual camping. Carrie, and welcome, Carrie. Question: if these Hollywood PR firms and cleaners are aware of a crime and prevent someone from speaking with detectives regarding the crime, can they be charged with tampering or hindering? It would be more of the hindering or obstruction of justice. It would be the fact that, if they knew of evidence, they destroyed it, then you have the actual crime of destroying evidence. So that's, yeah, it could be obstruction, and it depends on how far they go. If they went so far as to block the actual investigation and stop people from actually giving witness statements to it, they could also be counted accessories after the fact. So I've got a Zoom meeting with Zach Morgan this week, and we're going to be getting our buddy Zach Morgan, who's an attorney. We're going to have him on, so y'all start saving up your questions for that.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Zach Morris from Saved by the Bell. Am I right, everyone?
I don't even, I think I watched that show one time in my life. To me, that always just, it was just,
I know,
it was too
wacky.
Pop. That's what it was. It was like the boy bands that they never knew each other, and suddenly they become a boy band put together by some big corporation or a record label. And next thing you know, they're my best friends, always have been. Yeah, you met each other 2 weeks ago and you're best friends. Okay. Joel McQueen, what gets me about the letters? What part of convicted don't you understand? It's a stupid thing to do, as well as very distasteful from a public relations nightmare. Yeah. The guy got convicted. All right. You know what? I understand you want to show support for someone you've known for a long time, someone you probably even love like family. But the fact is, what he did is inexcusable. And had that been someone I personally knew, someone that I've known for years, and like I said, that could be someone I love like a brother, and they did something like that, I'm out. No, I'm not sending a letter in. I'm not supporting you. I ain't putting no money in your commissary. You're done. All right. It's that simple. So yeah, it's crazy. Local color, off topic. What do you think of Raymond Hicks' story? I don't know that one. I will have to take a look, and I will look into it, and I will see what I think of it. Raymond Hicks. Let me actually pull that up real quick so I don't forget it.
Very good.
Oh, okay. Yes, I do. I know some of that. You got to remember, since last night, my email has been flooded with hate mail. I was reading one of them to Chad earlier. Oh my goodness. And it said it was from a woman, and they said basically how hideous a person I am, how despicable I am, how I claim to be a Christian, but yet I am damaging another religion, and it's bigotry, and just kept going on and on and on. And I am getting email after email after email. I love it, but it's hard to fish out who are people wanting to really tell me stuff when you open it up and it's like F you, and you're just like, well, okay. So 51,000 question. Do you personally think any of the celebrities would have submitted the letters if they knew they would be public knowledge? I think that I think, yeah, I do. But I think the bigger thing is I think that they thought that it wouldn't be as bad to their image as it has been. I think that's one of the big things that really surprised them, and that's why you've got Ashton and Mila looking like hostages doing this video, going, "Hey, apparently we hurt some feelings and we're sorry. Wow. We've fought for women's rights our whole lives." But I mean, yeah. Go ahead, Jed.
Oh, sorry to cut you off, Poe, but I'm just gonna say I'm a little envious of Poe because I haven't received any hate mails. So I got to step up my game.
I've got a couple of different email addresses. I'll send you some.
All right.
Yeah, I'll shoot you back all them nude pics you sent me by mistake the other day. So, no, I'm joking. That never happened. Yeah, I want to apologize if my apology wasn't an apology. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm sorry I got caught.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry. Yeah, you're sorry because you're going to lose a bunch of money. Stephen Britton, from a psychological standpoint. Oh, wait a minute. You've went out ethics with that. Psychological? You're not supposed to be bringing that up, right? LRH has told us himself, do not get involved with that. Oh, yeah. You're going to get me burnt on that. I'm going to be a PTSSP.
That's a dozen hate mails right there.
From a psycho. Oh man, thank you, Stephen. I think some of the folks who wrote the letters had no idea that Masterson was capable of that behavior, so the conviction would seem so far out of. Here's my thing with it: is the problem is that he was actually convicted, and they submitted the letters. That's where that really got me, because all that evidence had been put in place, all the witness testimony, all that was there, and they wrote these letters. So that's, oh man. Cassie Isaac, they should have just shut up, and when those letters came out, yep.
Yeah.
Now they have directed so much. All it's done is, yeah, they've literally fanned that fire, and they're paying for it now.
And it doesn't seem like it's going to stop, right? That one girl, I forgot who it was, but there's going to be more information out about those people.
Yeah. Oh, and this is the continuation. And you know what? You're like 30 chats down from that. Out of character, that they just couldn't believe he was capable of that. I would write a letter this way: I'm devastated he was convicted because I never saw any indication he could or would do this. I think that's much better than how the others did it. Mm-hmm. You know, I think that you're still going to get a lot of blowback from it, you know, and that's one of the problems, is that in this day and age, everything is instantaneous. The minute that it goes out here, it's worldwide. So yeah, it's crazy. Let's see. And that's one of the things that's helping to take down Scientology. I mean, it's getting so bad for Scientology. Aaron and Mark from Blown for Good, Mark Headley, Aaron Smith-Levin, just did a live stream talking about how Scientology is literally in panic mode right now because of what is going on. And I think that that's one of the things that they clearly underestimated, was the power of the internet and what it could do, how quickly people can be connected, how quickly information gets out there, and how that works. So yeah, you know, that's the problem with having a religion where it's based on technology of the 60s and 70s, and then the person who was running it passes away. Now you can't put any new tech because his word is law. So it's, you know, they're going to be kind of stuck with that vicious cycle of fines for people living paycheck to paycheck. And that's one of the things, is it's not just an American thing. It's worldwide. You have people who have no savings, and they're, you know, here you have these government sponsored things like these speed traps, those kinds of things, where people are getting tickets, and it's all about raising money for the municipality, for the jurisdiction. And, you know, and I worked for a department that had that. And we had a special detail where you had to volunteer for it. And the fact is that all it is, it's a cash grab, because you get the ticket. If you don't have a bad driving record, you go in and you meet with the city attorney or just the officer beforehand. And next thing you know, they go, okay, we're going to knock this down from speeding, failing to use your signal, whatever, to impeding traffic. It's no points. It doesn't go on your record. And you just pay us X amount of dollars in fines, and then they'll tack on another $50 to $100 for court fees. And the sad thing about that is it's just a revolving door. And those who are not with, you know, I've said it a million times, our justice system is more equal or better for people who have money than those who don't. If you don't have millions of dollars, you can't hire the best attorneys. You can't pay your bond. You can't get out of jail. So you're stuck in there. I can't tell you how many times I've had people where I've actually gone to court for a trial on something, and they end up getting time served because they waited a month in jail before going to court because they couldn't pay the bond. Now, I understand if it's anything near anything near being a violent crime or something that has a true victim to it other than society itself. And I'm talking about society itself being like a moving traffic violation, something like that. Those are the situations where, you know, if it crosses over that line to where there's actual victims or victimhood to it, then yeah, there should be a bond. But in these lower cases where there's no actual victim to it, why not? Why do we have bonds? why are we continuing to crush these people down for that? Nerman, let's see. I still can't get over 9/11 2001. Yep. And someone posted it last night, and Vanessa was saying that she was the one who come up with it, saying Scientology is like a relationship without a safe word. So, and I think that, Alex, what do you think about that? So, Chad, what do you think?
I mean, it sounds pretty accurate. Sounds pretty scary.
Yeah. Let's see here. I'm just thinking about the whole Ashton situation. By the way, I'm looking forward to hearing your input on the New York detox. Oh yeah, I'm digging into that one. Folks, let me know down here in the chat. Do you want to know? You want me to tell you about what it was like being a police officer on 9/11/01? Let me know down in chat there. I'll go back up to the top. I'll go back up. Man, I was way behind. If you want me to tell you about that, I will. I'll explain to you what it was, what happened that morning, and what it was like being. I believe I was a sergeant in the department at that time. So okay, looks like we're getting some yeses.
I think it could be.
Yeah, and Theta asked the question. So, wow. All right. So, the morning of 9/11/01, I was in the middle of. I got during that time. You got to remember, with my department the way it was, I was up between 3:30 and 4 o'clock every morning, going to work. I had to be in by a certain time. I had to be an hour before my shift started. And it was called the early man detail. And what you did was basically you went in, you made sure everything was up to par. You went out and you checked all the vehicles, made sure all the equipment was there that you needed, and make sure that there were so if any calls came in before my shift got there or during the roll call, I could go out and handle those calls. And this happened to be my day off. So I was in the bathroom and I was putting new cabinets in. I can't remember exactly what I was doing at that second. I know I was in there working. My wife was in the living room. Our kids, who were twins, they were 4-year-old. They were almost 4 years old at that point, as they were born on September 19th. And so here it was. Yeah, Stephen, I'm going to explain it. So I'm in there and I'm working and I'm putting these new cabinets in. And the next thing I know, I hear my wife scream. I don't know if it was a scream or it was just more of a, kind of shock. And so I came running in to see what was going on. And she's sitting there. She's got her hands over her mouth. She points at the television. And I look at the television and we see the first tower. And it's during that point that we see the second plane come in. I looked at her and I said, the phone's going to be ringing in just a moment. Tell them I'm getting changed and I'll be on my way in. So I ran up the stairs, and our house that we were living in at that time was a house built in 1907. So it literally had stairs like that. I ran up the stairs, and before I got to the top step, the phone started ringing. She answered. She said, yep, he's getting changed right now, and he'll be on his way in. She hung. Okay, I'll tell him. She hangs up the phone, and she says, they said, don't worry about putting your uniform on. Just get yourself dressed, bring your gun belt, bring your firearm, and get yourself into work. So I literally did that. I went up, threw on a pair of blue jeans. I threw on one of my SWAT call-out shirts and put my belt on and came down, kissed her. And the kids were in preschool at the time. That's what was going on. They were at preschool. And I told her, I said, go get our kids, bring our kids home. I'm going in. I'll let you know as soon as I know anything. I got to work, and the guys were flying in from all over. Guys who work midnight shift, guys who work afternoons, people who were off like me for day shift. Everybody was coming in, and I talked to the lieutenant who was on the desk, and he said, "Yeah, the chief said this is it's being declared a national emergency. We need to get everybody in and get everybody out on the road as quickly as possible." And I remember I jumped in with one of the new officers, and I remember he stopped the car in front of the station, And I come walking out, and he jumps out and he goes, "Here you go, Sarge." And I go, "Nah, you drive." I said, "I have a feeling I'm going to be here for a while." So we got in the car, and the first thing that started getting my attention was the fact that the silence. We had no idea what was going on. And you got to remember, at a certain point, we knew that it was someone coming out of the Middle East was the person who had been in charge of it. Where I worked literally was 2 miles from the city of Dearborn, Michigan, which at that time had the largest Middle Eastern population outside of the Middle East. But I was talking to the young officer, and I go, I don't really feel that. It was the city of River Rouge, Michigan, first city south of Detroit along the Detroit River. So I looked at him and I said, "Hey, I just don't see anything happening to Dearborn. I would see things more happening to Detroit, say like the Renaissance Center, the 3-tower center we have, skyscraper we have down there in Detroit." And we all played back and forth. We had AM radio on because that's where you could get real-time news breaking stories. And there's one in Detroit, WJR, I believe it's called, AM 950. They do the weather reports and all that. It's a straight news channel. So we had that locked on in the car. We were constantly making returns to the station, see if there were any updates on anything on the cell phone like crazy. My mom's calling from down in southwestern Ohio. She's scared to death. She doesn't know what's going on. And my best advice to everybody I was talking to is just stay in your house. If you got food, you got supplies, stay in your house. Don't be coming out. And I spent the next 24 hours on the road working. Time to time would go home. I went home to eat a couple times. But for the most part, that's all I did was be on the roads. What was amazing was we were in the direct flight path of Detroit Metropolitan Airport. So you constantly had a barrage of airliners coming and going. Nothing. The only aircraft in the sky were F-16s and A-10 Warthogs that were coming out of north of Detroit. And you would hear them. And if you know that sound of an F-16 when it flies through, it literally sounds like it's cutting time and space, the way the engine sounds. The whole time, I wasn't scared. I think it was more a matter of shock than anything. How did this actually happen? How did this happen to us? And it was, I think it aged me about 5 years, without a doubt. I was more worried about everyone else than I was myself. My wife, my kids, my mom, the rest of my family, my good friends, people like that. I had friends that lived in New York at the time. I was scared to death for them. I couldn't get hold of them through the cell phones. So it was a bad time. After a day or two, the realization that it wasn't going any further than that. But it was the whole outpouring of support. We had U-Haul trucks in our city that were laden with supplies to be taken to the police departments, and then we drove them to New York. And hey, police officer from Michigan here to help. What do you need? They had everything. They had pretty much everything they needed at that point. They had thousands of police officers responding from around the country. And you couldn't even get anywhere near ground zero. Even as a police officer, they're delivering supplies for the police departments and the fire departments to make sure that they were taken care of during this time. So yeah, it was amazingly surreal. I don't think there's, the only other time that we had something like that was Pearl Harbor. So this was the first real, besides back during the Revolutionary War and those things, this was the first real-time attack we had on the mainland. There's a mosquito in here. Mm-hmm. And everybody knows I got malaria in Malaysia, so I'm terrified of mosquitoes.
Yeah.
Is there any memory you have of your department coworkers or your team unit perform uh, like I see what you're talking about. Um, the amazing thing is they came out with this big thing about, yeah, they're going to share information, the feds to the local level. And the fact is that it's never worked that way. The feds are the feds. They're up here. We're down here licking their boots. So that's how we're considered as local police officers, local law enforcement as compared to the feds. They're way better than us, and we just need to realize that. And the communication. No, here's how the communication works with feds. They come in, they take everything you've got, all your evidence, all your reports, all of it. They take it over. You're done. Then they hold a big press conference. And during the press conference, they'll go, oh, by the way, I want to thank Clearwater Chad for, assisting us in this matter. What do you mean assisting? We did all the work. We did all the groundwork. You came in and took it from us and took our case from us. So, yeah, that's how communication works with the feds. They don't tell you anything, but you better tell them something. And if you don't, it's considered obstruction of the federal agent, a 10-year felony. And they don't have any problem. Oh, you're a cop and you forgot to tell me that you were born in Kentucky. Okay, well, that's obstruction because I needed to know that. And you could spend 10 years in jail for it. I mean, that's literally how they are. It's like they look for that so they can build their careers off those things. I honestly never considered any issues from Dearborn or Dearborn Heights, and I was in Southwest Detroit. Oh, wow. All right. Right down the street from the drive-in. Yeah. The Wyoming drive-in. Wyoming, and I can't remember what road that was. But yeah, we've been there many times with the kids. I was more concerned DC or Chicago. Yeah, exactly. That was it. Once we started, you started getting your brain back and you started thinking clearly. You're like, I don't see them coming in and bombing friends and family or doing these kinds of things there. Where I see it more in, like I said, downtown Detroit. Yeah, Chicago with, they were particularly hitting targets that were part of the American dichotomy. The Twin Towers were part of the American landscape. That's what people looked at. I'm very glad they didn't, I'm not happy about any of it, but I'm glad they didn't hit the Statue of Liberty. That would have been like a knife to the heart. So let's see here. Just looking. All right. So yeah, it was draining. Like I said, I worked for 24 hours straight. And thank you, One Love. I worked for 24 hours straight. My concern was as my community went from being community to being my family during that time. My job was to protect them and try to make some sense of what was going on and try to make them feel safe during that time. So it was, of course, the further away we get from it, I'll never forget it. I'll never get over it. But, with a lot of traumas, time starts to ease those wounds. So
Yeah,
it was crazy. I mean, I'm at a loss for words, and you see how often that happens. Let's see. I can't imagine that you would have been like that would have been like for you. Oh, thank you. Yeah. I mean, as a police officer, your community is your family, no matter what. They're the people that you're watching, you're protecting. You want to make sure that they're not hurt. They're being taken care of. Don't you go to sleep on me, Chad.
I know, right? I've been. Well, I shouldn't say it online, but I had a little wine.
Yeah. Oh, did you really?
Yep.
Yeah, I've got some edibles I'm gonna be getting to. Let's see here. Thank you for sharing your experience. Follow up. Did your job change immediately after that? No. It was we were focusing more on what would be considered possible threats. But you got to remember, we were a lower income industrial city that was a Detroit suburb. I never thought we would be any kind of target for that. If anything, it would be the steel mill or the electric plant that's in the town, but they aren't even major targets. After Oklahoma, oh yeah, I remember the Oklahoma City bombing. That was a bad one too. It was harsh for me. It rattled me. But what I remember is that almost every house in America, yeah, and now you got people actually every house in America pretty much had an American flag.
Yeah.
Now we always had one. To this day, uh, I have a flagpole in my front yard at the house we were living in at that time. I had a flagpole there, always proudly flew the American flag, always will. And the fact is that, oh, okay. You see what Creepy had to say?
Yeah, I put it back in. It's a little pocket DM.
But, it was crazy times. I think that we came out of it better, a more united nation. And it's just sad how far we've come from that point that now we are a nation divided. And it seems like the people who have the money, who are in power, that's what they want. They want us divided because if we're stuck fighting each other, then they can slip in the back door and do what they want. So, yeah, crazy times. Carrie, comment. I went to Roscommon Firefighters Memorial Festival the following weekend. The parade was silent and everything was draped in black. It was humbling and heartbreaking. Yeah. Let's see. I love Sherlock. What do you got there? I see it continued. Okay. Yeah, have had a lot of friends that lived in New York City. I actually knew some folks who were lost during 9/11. Let's see here. I have friends in Chicago, and I guess at least 2 gangs called for a week apiece. It was more than just Chicago. It was a lot of nationwide because no matter how much people hated each other, we all had a common enemy. We had a common goal. Our country had to be protected. Deviant Outcast, with confusion of information in a time of crisis, was it clear from the get-go, the first plane, that it was an attack or supposed to be an accident? No, it wasn't clear because the first thought was this is clear. The pilot had a heart attack. Something went wrong. That was the first thought. It was the second impact that then suddenly people start going, whoa. The chances of this happening twice. And then you find out about the Pentagon, and then you find out about the Pennsylvania incident as well. And let's roll is the call sign for that. And that all, it all became very apparent very quickly. And then, of course, you had those taking responsibility for what happened. Now I'm very interested to see how this is all transponding, because I understand that a country that has been a friend of ours and supposed to be an ally, they were actually quite involved with it. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. I'm waiting to see more evidence on it, but from what I'm hearing from investigations, testimony, those kinds of things, that it looks like it's leading towards that way. Let's see here. We got anything else? So I am getting off this topic because it's not something I'm real happy. Go ahead, Chad.
Poe, I better roll, Poe. I got the 9:00 stream.
Oh yeah, folks. Chad has his. It's the after party, right?
Yep.
So show them some love when we're done here. Make sure you jump over there and show some love to Chad and them. They have a great after party. I generally jump in during their pre-show because I'm on a lot of times when they're doing their after parties. So, all right, sir. Thank you.
Thanks, Poe. Thanks for having me.
All righty.
Bye, everyone.
All right. Let's see. The Scientology Geeks here. Thank you. And there's Mary Klein. Witness is here. Jeanette Rexford. And Chad just left us. Yep. The other day we were talking in it's called the backstage area for StreamYard, where we can sit there and we talk and get everything ready before we do the lives. And the thing is that I was looking at it, I go, what is that? Because it looked like one thing because the way it was sitting. He turned it and I go, that's Woody Woodpecker. He goes, no, it's the Roadrunner. I go, is he blue? He's like, yeah. And I said, that's Woody Woodpecker, man. So yeah, Evelyn, still our allies, so they say. Amazes me that they have not taken any actions yet. Corruption abounds. Well, I mean, let's face it. How much money, goes back and forth. I mean, but ain't none of us seeing that money. So it's all those in power and those who already have more money than they can ever deal with. I found it amazing going to the United Arab Emirates, Abu Dhabi, Dubai, whatever you want to call it. And there are Lamborghinis, Ferraris, Bentleys, Bugatti Veyrons, Koenigsegg's, $1 million cars, and they're just driving down the road. The police have Lamborghinis and Ferraris for the police department. And these folks have no idea how common people live and how the struggle is real for a lot of people trying to make sure that you're feeding your family, you're taking care of your kids, that they have a roof over their head, that they're safe. So the rich get richer, the poor get poorer. It's just the general trend of it. Let's see. Okay, cool. I was just looking at a few more of those, but there was a really interesting interview that Danny Masterson was part of, and it was with Conan O'Brien. And I'm going to pull it up, and the only place I could find it was on a Facebook feed that I had. But we'll go ahead and I'm going to pull that up. And all right, Carrie, well, thank you for joining us. You have a safe night, okay? Yeah, Rev Girl, that's something I'm going to be hitting on for too long. Let's see here. So we're going to bring this up. And what it is Danny was being interviewed by Conan O'Brien. And the last statement of Conan O'Brien, I think, is so ominous and foreboding. So let's take a look.
You have no accent, though. You have no Long Island accent that I can discern.
Not really. I've been in LA for like 10 years.
Mm-hmm. And it just goes away naturally, right?
It goes away naturally. And then there's also certain words that there's nothing you can do about. Like my friend Bodie Elfman, he always teases me and he says, "Hi, my name is Danny Masterson. Would you like to touch my balls?" Doing an imitation of me. Because certain words
why are you asking people to do that? That's the more important question.
I mean, you got them.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Accent aside,
Everybody can grab.
That's the more important thing.
Exactly.
I've heard about you. And you'll be caught soon. I know you will.
I will.
Wow. I mean, talk about... You're on a internationally viewed show, and you're going to make a statement like that. Are you serious? Are you serious? You literally make a statement like that on that show that's seen by millions of people around the world, and you thought it was okay. I also love the fact that he kind of tried to bounce the blame or whatever onto Bodie Elfman. I mean, I'm not a friend of Bodie's. I'm not a fan. I mean, honestly, the things I've heard coming out of those two, I have no use for him or his wife. But yeah, you got to make that statement and think that it's okay. I'm surprised it didn't get bleeped on national television. Celebrity culture is that they can do whatever they want. Well, it's celebrity and rich. Yeah. Let's see. USA is going to get this struck faster than the last one. Last night, it was struck before it was even done. So I agree. As you know, that like I said, that's the true ominous foreboding of real personality on it. So I was looking around for the best example of what's going on with Ashton and Mila and how it's being covered. And that's when I came across, this is from the Today Show of Australia. And the link is in the comments below, in the description below. But let's take a listen to what they've got to say about it.
And Ashton Kutcher are under fire for a hostage-style apology video, which has set the internet ablaze over the past 24 hours.
It comes after the Hollywood power couple wrote letters in support of former co-star Danny Masterson, who was convicted of sexual assault and sentenced to 30 years behind bars.
We are aware of the pain that has been caused by the character letters that we wrote on behalf of Danny Masterson.
We support victims. We have done this historically through our work and will continue to do so in the future.
A couple months ago, Danny's family reached out to us and they asked us to write character letters to represent the person that we knew for 25 years so that the judge could take that into full consideration relative to the sentencing.
The letters were not written to question the legitimacy of the judicial system or the validity of the jury's ruling.
They were intended for the judge to read, and not to undermine the testimony of the victims or re-traumatize them in any way. We would never want to do that. And we're sorry if that has taken place.
Our heart goes out to every single person who's ever been a victim of sexual assault, sexual abuse, or rape.
So I'm going to leave that up where it's at and talk about this for a minute. I mean, first off, if I remember correctly, Ashton Kutcher is a billionaire. He is heavily divested in so many different things. I mean, he actually was a, what do they call him? A celebrity guest appearance on the Shark Tank. I think at least one time. I remember seeing him at least one time. And so gotta love living their train track. But, as far as I know, he is a billionaire. She's worth hundreds of millions of dollars. But look at them. They look like they just woke up from a bad night at the bar. And yeah, I think that Chad said it right. It looked like they've been up arguing all night. I don't think they were arguing with each other. I think what it was is that was like Aaron was saying, it was a matter of panic mode for him. So that's crazy. Let me shut this window real quick. I thought I had shut it earlier. There we go. I thought I'd shut it earlier, but apparently not, as it's like 90 degrees in this room. But yeah, Nerman, I literally look at them as hypocrites. You notice how the way as they're talking about it, they're going, we in no way wanted to undermine the judicial system. We didn't want to undermine the court. We didn't want to go against the prosecution or the law. The crazy thing about it is, Sherlock, I'm going to be talking about that in a little bit here. The crazy thing about it is that the Jane Does, and I'm not using their names. I know that their names are out there, and it's also, Sherlock, I got central air. The problem is this room is just a daggone oven for some reason. I think the sun, the way the sun beats in or whatever. But the victims were the absolute last ones they talked about. And then they said historically have been supporters. I've never seen anything. I don't know what they're talking about where they have been historically these great people fighting for victims. So I would love to see what it is that they're doing. I mean, are they doing philanthropy under the radar? That's quite possible. And if they are, kudos, full respect for that. Anytime I see a celebrity who's doing something like Bill Paxton or Gary Sinise, then they're doing things. And the only time that they bring in their celebrity status is to help raise money for a cause or help bring attention to that cause. Otherwise, they're not looking at it from the standpoint of trying to accelerate their career, make themselves look better. Anytime I see celebrities doing something like that, awesome. That's great. Let's see, Wendy Moore. I thought that I could have swore I heard that he was an actual billionaire at one point. So I thought it was from the Shark Tank that I saw that. Oh, excellent. See, I've never heard of that. I've never heard of it, Matt. And welcome, Matthew. But the thing is, I've never heard of him doing it. And I worked in the human trafficking world of, trying to shut it down. I'd never heard of that. Now I know about the Underground Railroad project, those kinds of things. But the problem is that I've never heard of him being part of that. There you go. Excellent. You hit that one on the mark, which is weird when his best buddy is part of the biggest trafficking cult. Well, as a cult, I'd say they might be the biggest, but believe me, the cartels, a lot of the mafia coming out of Eastern Europe, they're much bigger human trafficking entities than Scientology is. Um, oh, that's a really interesting statement there. That was brand protection video, not an apology. Yeah, I mean, when you're apologizing and you can't even look into the camera, and you're like, "Yeah, we're sorry, we were." It just reminds me of the kids when they would get caught doing something, and they were basically like, like the little gremlin in Hotel Transylvania. I didn't do that. So yeah, for me, it's incredible that it feels disingenuous. It feels like they're just doing it to try to put a band-aid on everything that's going on. When I knew that that the media was basically sidelining this story as much as possible is when I saw Critical, Charlie, Penguin Zero, huge YouTuber, 13 million. And of course, Aaron, here it is. I see Charlie's video and I'm like, oh yeah, got it marked, got it in my description, got everything set for it. And then next thing I know, Aaron's running with it. So I'm like, oh, hey, Ron, how are you going to do this to me? But you know what? It's not about me. It's not about my channel. It's not about any of that. It's about making sure that the information gets out there and that this gets shared. And Aaron has a whole lot more subscribers than I do. Run with it, son. Run with it and get that out there, because when you do a live stream and you've got over 100,000 views of the live stream, I think one of his live streams just hit 300,000. So when you've got that, you're definitely getting it out to more people than me. So I'm not upset. Yeah, I just, sometimes it's like, daggone it. I get an inch and I fall back a mile on it. So when I heard Critical talking about this was something that really caught my attention. So I'm going to go ahead and pull it up and let's listen to what Charlie's got.
What they did is actually pretty deplorable. They, as well as many others, were requested to write letters to a judge in regards to the Danny Masterson rape case. I actually didn't even know this was going on. I only just learned about this. Danny Masterson of That 70s Show fame, a show that Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis were a part of for a very long time, has just been sentenced to 30 years to life in prison for 2 out of the 3 counts of rape that he was facing. Danny Masterson was arrested in 2020, and this trial has actually had a lot of developments to it that I was just completely unaware of, but it's concluded now for the most part, and he was...
Okay, so if you look at this, and the thing you got to understand here is Critical, if you watch his content, that that he stays up to date on everything as it pertains to social media, those kinds of things, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, those kinds of things. This guy is plugged in like nobody's business. Cool hair, by the way. He's got nice hair. What do you mean, Ray? Got one more. But he's plugged in. This guy is much further into the rabbit hole on many things as it comes to social media, as it comes to what's going on around the world, especially in the digital space like we're in. And he says he didn't even know about it. He didn't know about it. Why? Because has the media been intentionally not reporting this like they should be? That's the thing I've got. And a lot of people, including myself, have been making that point from day one. It seems as though the mainstream media has done everything they could not to run with this story. Then on top of it, when it's all over with, then suddenly they want to jump in and they want to start putting reports out there and everything else. So, oh, thank you, sir. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Ray. But that's what gets me is he didn't even know this was going on. He had no idea about the trial, whatever. And with all the things that were coming out during the trial, you would think he would know. So that'll tell you just how far this has gone to where they're not actually reporting things like they should be. And let's see here. Yeah. And I'm going to tell you in all honesty, I think that our media, the news, has gone from being a news reporting outlet, what they're supposed to be, to they're all turning in, and it doesn't matter which side of the coin you're on. It doesn't matter which party you support. Doesn't matter which ideology you support. Both sides, when it comes to mainstream media, seem like they're more fictional storytellers, or they're more collaborators with building certain images, tearing certain images down. And that, honestly, when they sit there and they talk about integrity in the news, and then you find out that they're acting in a certain way and that they're hiding stories. We now know that stories have literally been hidden from the public. And that just, it breaks my heart, because what happened to the days of Walter Cronkite and those folks? I understand it's time we start letting more people be part of our media. It shouldn't just be some old white guy sitting there smoking a cigarette, talking about today in the news. No, I believe that it should be open, and there should be more opportunities for a whole lot more people out there. But what I don't like is, why can't we have the same kind of model where they're actually reporting the news instead of turning it into an editorial about their own personal opinions, or the opinion that they're being told to put out there? So, love Sherlock. Kutcher has been a long advocate for child SA survivors, even testified in Congress. Wow, I did not know that. He co-founded Thorn, anti-human trafficking organization working to eliminate. I've never heard of Thorn. Never have. And I could tell you, let me give you a good example. Underground Railroad partnered with a local law enforcement motorcycle club. And they have dogs that can sniff out microchips. Say you're hiding a cell phone somewhere in a box or something like that. The dog can sniff out the electronic device. And so what's going, that the great thing about that is that's made to help stop this. And the dog was $11,000, and then the continued training was going to be more money. Underground Railroad was giving the dog free to a law enforcement agency to use specifically in helping to track human trafficking. They were also going to pay for the continued training in it. And the thing is that, that's why I know about the Underground Railroad, because they were actually reaching out to the police departments and trying to help. I've never heard of Thorn. So let's see here. Frizinu comments, when I was a skydiver, really? We did fundraisers for breast cancer, Feed the Children, and Feed the Homeless every year. We asked the media out there to help, to see people were doing. Let's get down here and find the second part, Zenu. Yeah, Matt, exactly. Corporate news is now corporate. The news is now corporate run. Corporations. I mean, look at how much influence Bill Gates has. And I just found out things about Bill Gates has actual training kind of situations for people who are going to be journalists. And it's amazing what's going on there. You've got billionaires dumping tons of money. I mean, look at, I'm vaccinated with the booster. All right. Not an anti-vaxxer. All right. I didn't want to get them, and I didn't want to get them because I hate needles. Was the first thing. Number two, being a law enforcement officer, having worked around a lot of medical people, I had true concerns about how quickly they were rushing through on those. But I got vaccinated. I got the boost. My whole family's vaccinated. I'm not an anti-vaxxer whatsoever. What bothered me was you had news channels that were out there. Anyone who said anything against it or of alternatives, and they were like, why this person is an evil hate monger that should be put down and should never be allowed to be free in the United States again. Brought to you by pharmaceuticals. Tell me there wasn't some kind of conflict of interest there, that your number one advertiser paying for your show is directly who's taking advantage of what you're putting out there. And it would appear that they were doing things so that they could, steer people towards it. So that really started hitting me. And, I'll tell you right now, I'm neither left nor right. I'm center. There's a lot of things I believe in. But the thing is that I believe people should be allowed to be who they are and what they are, how they are. All right. I believe we should support each other. We shouldn't be judgmental. I believe that we should be a community that takes care of each other. So, that's the thing. But when our pilot hit a wind shear and hit a supporting wire for the high tension power lines, they were out there making things up, and the family found out before we could tell them. Yeah, that's, well, you got to remember, nowadays it's not journalism, it's shock journalism. Let's see here. I believe Tom Cruise holds power over the entertainment media, the holding companies who owns the production companies that makes his movies, Silence, SCI Stories to protect the bottom lines. I don't have any proof of that one way or another. I wouldn't be surprised. I really wouldn't. But he has, talk about someone who's damaged his own career with some of the stuff that he's done. I mean, that whole thing when he was going to marry Katie Holmes, jumping on the couch with Oprah and all that. Wow. Talk about looking pretty bad during that. And then you had the interview with Matt Lauer and the way he acted. So, it's some crazy stuff. So folks, if you got any questions or comments, put them in there. We're going to wrap this up in just a little bit here. Chad and them are rolling. I saw that Liz is also going live now. Make sure you get out there and you're supporting the SPTV verse. There, you have the Never Ends, then you have the OGs, and you have those who have just recently come out. If you didn't see it, last night was an incredible live stream. We had Jeffrey Augustine jumped in. We had Vanessa from Degraded Daughters of Dianetics, and then we had Liz Ferris was in here. I want to talk to Liz. I want to bring Liz back on, just Liz, and hear more of her story. And I think that it was, we had an amazing live stream last night. It was a great time. We actually sat after it was over with for probably about an hour in the backstage, just sitting there talking and cutting the BS. Exactly, Chitza. When I start seeing, I was watching, I think it was Joe Rogan, and he had someone on there, and they were talking about how Hollywood knew about Bill Cosby. They knew about Harvey Weinstein. They knew what was going on. So, yeah, it's pretty crazy. Okay, I don't know what that was. Of course, Ray. Everybody's welcome here. As long as you come in, we know who they are that come in here just to start trouble. All right, come in. You want to be part of it. We ask just be respectful of everyone else, be welcoming and non-judgmental. That's all we ask. We're going to be judgmental of Scientology, but not, and David Miscavige. Oh yeah. But not the people, attacking the people who are part of it and going after them is attacking them is only going to strengthen their resolve to remain part of it. So that's why, when we're talking about wanting to do First Amendment audits of the orgs and all that, is that the fact that we don't want to go after the org members or the staff. We're going after COS, not them. Because you know what? You be supportive, show them that there's a way out, and that's how you can hopefully make some kind of decision in their mind. And they're willing to get out. And this is an interesting one. I saw it earlier and just got so caught up in everything. Goldie has a buy me a coffee now, and make sure you put that in there, Goldie, so we know where your buy me a coffee was. Reefer Ricky. Yeah, I thought I had so much fun with that. And then to have Jeffrey come in and join, come in an hour before and say, hey, can I come in? Yeah, of course. And it just, it went so deep. We were like, oh man, this is so out ethics. We are really going PTS tonight. Got a lot of great information out there, so many different topics, and it was just a real good time. First time working with Vanessa and Liz, and they were just awesome people. I can't speak highly enough of them. Let's see. That was good. Love the cross-pollinating between us. Yes, exactly. And like I said earlier, it's not about me. It's not about growing my channel, which, by the way, I'm only like 20 people away from 4,000 subscribers. So if you haven't subscribed already, please. But it's not about that. It's about the cause itself. I could have, you can ask Chad. I mean, there have been times where we've done streams and we're lucky if there are 2 or 3 people in there because bigger channels have gone on at the same time we have. It's not about us. It's about the cause. It's about supporting those who want to get out. And it's about helping to take down this evil organization. And L. Jane Clifton Roselle, it was my first live with you. And you came in on a good one then. Let's see. Speaking of trains, guess who else lives near one? Who, Stephen? Goldie, you don't even know the link to your own Buy Me a Coffee? But yeah, folks, make sure you please send Goldie, a lot of love and support. Goldie is the boss. She is the mama to all of us, and we love her to death. She's great people. Can't tell you how many times we sat on the phone talking about stuff, and there have been some folks that haven't been so cool to Goldie or what's going on with Goldie. And I've made it very clear from day one that I got Goldie's back. She does amazing things. She's a good person. She has a great heart, good soul. So I support her. There's her link. It's in the comment section down there. So you make sure you show Goldie some love. And that's right, Karen. She is the boss. All right, folks. Well, this is my 3rd live stream in the last 4 hours that I've been part of. This one's mine, of course. Yeah, Goldie is the GOAT. So, yeah, love her. In the city that I retired from, where we lived at for 13 years, I think it was, we were just as close to train tracks as we are now. So for us, we don't even pay attention to it. It's just part of life. So yeah, I mean, I hate them trains, but could be worse. And this is just water. So if anybody's asking, we've got a long way to go, folks, but the dam is starting to show cracks. It's starting to show wear. When you have Aaron and Mark jumping on, doing a live stream when they weren't planning on doing one, because Scientology is literally in panic mode, we're making ground. And the only way we continue to do so is we be as diligent, and we be as concerned and keep our emotions in check and do the right thing. Keep getting more and more and more of the information out, exposing the evils, exposing the dirt. Liz's father, she thought he was dead for 15 years, finds out he's alive and digging ditches, and they still won't let her talk to him. Come on. I mean, salt in the wound mean anything to you? So, and remember, like I said, those who are in, other than those who are the ones running and doing the dastardly stuff, they're not our targets. Actually, David Miscavige isn't even on my radar. It's about the organization and what they're doing. David Miscavige is just a side note in all of it to me. So my focus is on trying to get as many people to jump out and come join us in society, try to get them on their feet and get them taken care of. And, we just got to be diligent. We've got to make sure we're watching what's going on. When we have news, we get it out there and we keep the discussion fresh. And as you see, our family's growing every day. And if you are part of Scientology, you wish to make that break, theaftermathfoundation.org. Theaftermathfoundation.org. They can do it anonymously, or you can be as public and as loud as you want to be. but they're going to help you. They want to get you on your feet. They want to be able to help you be able to get yourself financially set so you can take care of yourself and your family. They are a fantastic organization, and I don't care what other channels say about them. They do a tremendous amount of good. I support the Aftermath Foundation, and I support the folks who are doing it, and they're volunteering their time. They're not getting a penny to do this stuff. So if you are in Scientology and you're wanting your way out, theaftermathfoundation.org. So, folks, again, as always, I appreciate each and every one of you. You are why we do this and why it is so important. You get one shot at life. Life is short. Make it count.